This is The Strange Recital, a podcast about fiction which questions the nature of reality.
Now, with 6 decades on this planet behind me, I've let go of so many self-limiting ideas. But in 1995, I was 40, an age that, it seemed to me at the time, should have meant mature self-assuredness and material success, neither of which I possessed. On paper, it all looked good. I was self-employed in an interesting field. I'd been married 7 years to an attractive woman and had an adorable 4-year-old daughter. I lived in a condo on the Hudson River, had 2 cars, a cute Cairn Terrier, and a handful of smart, creative friends. The truth is, things were not working out well. Cate and I had been fighting a lot lately, and at the root of it was the cliche I hated to admit: money. Our business was really not pulling its weight. And when I say our business, it's really just a euphemism for my business. Except, of course, when it was profitable, then it was her business. We had started our production company 2 years before we got married, so it had had a 9-year run. More than enough time, in her view, to be a great success. Fortune, fame, no worries. Instead, we operated out of 2 small rooms in an industrial building in a slum neighborhood. We barely covered our bills every month, and we had already surrendered, after exhausting every other option, to the necessity of sending our kindergarten-aged daughter into the maw of the Jersey City public school system. Kate's full name was Catherine Ann Cross. 2 saints and their symbol, she said. She came from a prominent central New Jersey family, generations of Catholic lawyers. A rebellious streak sent her in the direction of the arts, and she became a skilled graphic designer. We met when I hired her to design some animation sequences in the first film of the educational series that launched our business, and in fact carried through our first 2 years. It was called From Knights to Masons: The Legacy of the Templars, Alchemists, and Rosicrucians. Together, we fell down a rabbit hole of ancient mystery and modern romance. One of our research sources was the 1677 alchemical masterpiece, Mutus Liber, or Silent Book, which is a series of mostly wordless illustrations by someone called Altus. Cate borrowed its visual style for some of our film graphics. The densely symbolic images showed a man and a woman laboring together through a series of mysterious activities, gathering morning dew on bedsheets, wringing out the liquid, distilling it, mixing its components in various combinations. But why? Because, we learned, dew stands for dreams. Dreams also arrive in the night, and come morning must be delicately captured and analyzed. Dreams are the materia prima, the lead-like raw material that must be worked with to advance toward philosophical gold. In other words, enlightenment, beyond lucid dreaming into full astral travel, even triumph over death. And there's my name, Ben Rose. Rose, I discovered, is a pun on the Latin word for dew, ros. So, rose equals dew equals dreams equals astral travel equals eternal life. Everywhere in the ancient texts are illustrations of roses. The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz, 1459, was a book that actually appeared in 1616 and chronicles or fictionally invents the mythical character who founded Rosicrucianism, where rose and cross come together as the symbol of a secret society of Christian mystics and magicians whose existence stretched backward in time to the Knights Templar of the Crusades, and then subsequently forward in time to the foundations of Freemasonry, with its secret rites and rituals that some writers claim are in use today by the shadowy power elite who actually rule the world. But on the other hand, no sooner was The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz anonymously published Then a guy named Andrei claimed to be its author and famously called it a ludibrium, a plaything or a trivial game. In other words, a fiction, a hoax. Did he give it that label to cover up an actual secret cult of immortal mystics? Or did his silly confabulation accidentally create a new reality in the superstitious minds of foolish humans and roll on down through the ages to us as if it were actually meaningful, which of course would make it actually meaningful by its sheer momentum? Cate and I reveled in this stuff. Do ancient esoteric texts have some strange erotic power? We laughed, we found reasons to work late, we touched each other too much. We joked about having our own chemical wedding. Instead of the mystical marriage of soul and spirit, we wanted the merging of flesh. Before a month was gone, we found ourselves in bed together, even discussing business partnership, and our union seemed cemented by fate with the serendipitous creation of a business name that mirrored the work we had begun, the work that carried us through our first 2 years. Rose Cross Productions. She crafted an elegant logo based on medieval Rosicrucian imagery, but streamlined, both contemporary and esoteric. The computer revolution in commercial art was just beginning. She jumped in and mastered the digital tools right away, and between the two of us, she was always the leader regarding current technology. Cate was slim and athletic, with auburn hair usually kept boyishly short for no fuss. I was attracted to her agile mind and ready laugh, and, I confess, to a convoluted undercurrent of dark passion that would show itself sometimes as a sardonic lift of one corner of her mouth, other times as dish-breaking rage, and still other times as full-on erotic ecstasy. Our wedding day was truly one of the happiest of my life, despite its location. It took place at her parents' lavish home in the green, hidden part of New Jersey. They spared no expense. In the years after that, we tried and mostly succeeded at staying out from under their influence. Early on, Cate made it clear that our financial struggles were to be our own, the history of our family, not hers, and I loved her for that. But life can be exhausting, and parenthood shakes up the deepest of romantic convictions. We were worn down by the struggle to stay afloat, and I was anticipating that any day now she might suggest that we accept her parents' standing offer for help. I was dreading that, because to be beholden to those people was the last thing I wanted. I say those people because they were a dynasty of ruthless corporate attorneys married to ladies who lunch, and I couldn't stand them. Cate's father and 2 brothers patronized me in the worst way, and I knew that as they teed up on the 7th hole or puffed on their Cuban cigars at the club, they wagged their heads and sighed, tisk tisk, about poor Cate marrying such a loser. Fuck 'em.
That was Rose and Cross, written and read by Brent Robison. This is an excerpt from Brent Robison's novel Ponckhockie Union, Recital Publishing, 2019. It's a good book, if I say so myself. I'm just not sure about this chemical wedding. I'd say chemical. Yeah, fuck it. This is one chapter from your novel, Ponckhockie Union. It comes near the beginning of the book. Let's have a conversation about what's going on in this excerpt.
Well, first there's something I really want to do. I want to play a recording.
Okay, what you got?
Just last night, I switched on my dream recorder before I went to sleep, which I frequently forget to do. I mean, so many of my dreams are just dull, so I got tired of listening to the playback. But I knew I'd be reading this chapter today, so maybe that prompted me.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the sound of my dream. No. Let's see now.
Dull is right.
No.
Is something ever going to happen?
Patience. Who's there?
Cate.
Cate who? I don't know any Cate.
Of course you do. Have you forgotten us already? Ben, Ava, Paul, Lester, me. Come on.
Those are imaginary characters. Who are you really?
This is a dream. It doesn't have anything to do with really.
Why are you here?
I want to register a complaint. I don't think I was treated fairly in your book, Ben.
I'm not Ben.
Oh, is that right?
I just told the truth as Ben saw it.
Ben's version is no more true than anybody's, maybe less. Is he even a reliable narrator about his own psychology? Any astute reader might have their own ideas about that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But did it ever occur to you that I might have a very different truth?
Of course, but an author can't write the entire point of view of every character in his story.
That's why I'm here right now, to get my point of view on the record.
You know, you made some terrible choices. You hurt Ben pretty badly.
Ben had been hurting me badly for years. No wife wants to feel ignored, like she always comes second to his work. When I met Nate, I wasn't trying to get revenge. I just wanted to feel seen and loved.
Ben loved you. It's obvious in the things he says. In the book that I wrote.
Maybe he loved me in his own head. He certainly didn't show it to me, not enough anyway. Then he abandoned me.
But he was held prisoner by a crazy man. It wasn't his fault.
Or so he said. Didn't you ever wonder if he made it all up, just to crash and burn his old life so he could start a new one?
I told his story as he experienced it. Or rather, I made it up.
Maybe he's the crazy one, or the cruel one. We had a marriage, a child, a business.
He's not cruel. Wait, this makes no sense. All those years of your daily life together before the story starts, none of that even exists. The only thing that exists is the story that's on the page.
Exists? Existence is not what we're talking about. None of the story exists, just like this conversation doesn't exist. But it's happening.
I'm dreaming it.
Yes, you're asleep. Maybe you were asleep when you wrote the book.
I hope not.
So wake up. Wake up the armored pufferfish of instantaneous elocution.
I've had enough of this
before
dream.
it combusts in the Copenhagen savannah, because a pedagogical moonrise licks all isotopes, but never the deciduous baboons in Abu Dhabi.
Waking up now.
Well, so tell me something. Why is there the sound of that tambura drum going on in the background?
That must be the cosmic background radiation from the Akashic record.
Do you always hear Indian music while you're asleep?
Actually, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, you were just getting into some pretty lucid dreaming there.
Yeah, but not lucid enough.
So your mind conjured a character from your novel to speak on her own behalf. That's interesting.
It had to be that stuff I was reading before I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
The Bechdel test and the lamp test.
What are they?
Tests for gender bias. My novel definitely passes the lamp test.
I'm sure it does.
It says, if you can replace your female character with a sexy lamp and the story still basically works, maybe you need another draft.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'd call that test a bit of veiled aggression. It's not really valid except maybe in the world of comics or the shallowest of movies and books.
Yeah.
The Bechdel test was created to apply to movies. It has 3 rules. 1, the story has to have at least 2 women in it.
Okay.
2, who talk to each other. 3, about something besides a man. Well, my novel doesn't pass that test.
No.
Cate and Gwen never have a conversation.
Is this, are you implying that I need to reread my own stories with that in mind?
Only if you want to. I always chafe at controls like that. But on the other hand, in my next novel, I intend to give it a serious effort. The goal is to meet that test without compromising the vision. Maybe even making it stronger.
Well, we're out of time for this episode now. But soon I'll play you some of the stuff I've been capturing on my own dream recorder. It's all about where you put the electrodes.
Your dreams are probably weirder than mine.
What are you saying?
Never mind.
By the way, Brent, what's your bacon number?
Oh, I'm a 1. Because when I saw him walking across a street in Millerton, I said to myself, hey, Kevin Bacon and I are in the same movie. How about you?
Well, I think my number must be 2, because I crossed paths with him once on a commercial when we were hanging him from a fake helicopter. And then I met him again in a bar on another commercial. So our combined bacon number is 3. Not that that has anything to do with your dream.
Sure it does. Bacon numbers are the key to everything.
Yes, I suppose like pi, it can be considered a transcendental number.
Yeah, pie and bacon. Let's get some lunch.
Will you tell me some puns over lunch? This is The Strange Recital, on the web at thestrangerecital.com. The music on this episode is an excerpt of Empire Rising by Kevin Salem from his album Empire, Roughs and Demos, released in March 2020. This is episode 20061.